Fletcher Henderson. Fletcher Henderson was born on December 18, 1897 in Cuthbert, Georgia. He had a degree in chemistry and mathematics and wanted to pursue a career as a chemist in New York in year 1920. But due to racism, the only job he could find was as a song demonstrator. He started working at Pace Handy Music Company, where he organized bands behind the scenes and was a backup blues vocalist. In January 1924, he formed his first blues band. His early recordings were said to be futuristic and awkward, with a strong musicianship and staccato phrasing. Once Don Redman and Louis Armstrong joined his band in 1924, there was no competition in sight until Duke Ellington rose in 1927. Fletcher Henderson was the top arranger in the 1930s.
But once the Depression came, much competition came with it. Within the jazz orchestra genre, this resulted in Henderson breaking his band in 1935. By 1936, he put together a new orchestra that immediately came with a hit called Christopher Columbus, but after 3 years, he disbanded again in 1939. By this time, he joined with a man named Benny Goodman in his orchestra. He worked as a staff arranger for a few months. He later struggled through the 1940s.
In 1950, Henderson had a fine sextet band, but died of a stroke that ended his career in 1952. Although Fletcher Henderson had many trials, he was still very important to early jazz. As a leader of the first great jazz band and an arranger and composer in the 1930s, and a masterful scout talent. In the end, many musicians passed through his orchestra. To name a few, Cootie Williams, Ben Webster, Red Allen, and John Kirby.